And here we have the Thinkpad T14s Gen 3. This is not their newest model, it's a couple generations back. This is running a Ryzen 5 6000 series CPU, 16 gigs of RAM, and their onboard graphics. I've been a huge fan of the Thinkpad line for many years now. I think my oldest Thinkpad goes back to, 2003. And then I have, the T440 from around 2014, and then an X1 Carbon Gen 7 from 2019. And they've just been very solid, at least in their business line. IdeaPads have given me some trouble, but ThinkPads have been really solid for the long term. Now, this is the 14-inch version of this laptop. They do make a larger one, and they do make, a 13.5. But this one has the nice matte finish that is synonymous with ThinkPads. We do still have the track point and then the upper keys, along with this really nice glass trackpad. It is a Ryzen 5 Pro, which is a truly great model. This is the Ryzen 5 6650, I believe, or maybe 6500. It is a nice matte black fingerprint absorbent coating. And it doesn't quite pass the two-finger lift test for the lid, but that's alright. A lot of laptops don't these days. We do still have a really nice recessed keyboard tray, extremely stiff, and the fingerprint is located on the power button. I love to see that. And we do have the two speakers located right there at the top. Now, this is only a 1920 by 1080 panel, but as you can see, the colors are still quite vibrant, and it is still really, really nice. Again, this is a 14-inch screen, which is, my preference for laptops. Now, this is a Ryzen 5 Pro with a 6650U. That is a 6-core, 12-thread processor. It is running 16 gigabytes of DDR5 memory at 6400 megatransfers per second, so this is very snappy. It does have that nice magnesium frame, and we're going to open it up and take a look. And keeping with that ThinkPad philosophy, there are only 5 retaining screws keeping the back on this. We're just going to go ahead and remove those. And we can see that this model has a really, really large battery in it. I believe this is a 58 watt-hour battery, which is really good for a laptop this size. All right, right here, 57 watt-hour. We have the option of installing another SSD, and I believe in this model that the RAM is soldered on, which is not my favorite, but it is at 6400 megatransfers per second, so that is pretty good. And one thing I do hold against this model is that the Wi-Fi card is not replaceable or upgradable. It does have Wi-Fi 6E, but I always like to see a removable and a replaceable card in laptops. Now, this is part of their ThinkPad lineup, which means that this is a blend of plastic, carbon fiber, and magnesium. In fact, I believe the model number actually says magnesium version. So yeah, this is a really solid laptop. And let's take a look at the I/O. On the right side of the laptop, we do only have the single USB 3.1 port and then a Kingston lock, as well as our exhaust fan. But on the far side, we do have a decent lineup. 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. We have our HDMI 2.0, another USB-A 3.1, and our headphone jack. This is it next to the X1 Carbon 7th Gen from 2019. This one is running an 8th Gen Intel processor, and this is running a 6000 series Ryzen 5 processor. As you can see, there's only a mild size difference in between them. The Gen 3 has a slightly larger keyboard deck, and the key's not quite as recessed with that larger touchpad. The X1 Carbon is very slimlined. I do really like the deeper recessed keys as compared to the Gen 3, but these have that matte finish, while this is a little more glossy, so they slide a bit more on the X1 Carbon. All in all, the T14s Gen 3 is a really solid laptop, and I'm excited to see how it performs in the coming weeks.